I did a huge MLP haul a while ago. Guess what else I found at Five Below? And by huge, I mean I bought like 3. But it was a huge occasion for me. Was momentous.
Wow.
I was very proud of showing off my collection online to all of my internet friends. You guys.
You're my internet friends.
I think a couple of you were even jealous of my collection. A lot of you guys started to wonder why I bought them and then never did a makeover on them.
Huh?
Some of you guys thought I might be becoming a professional MLP collector. A brony.
Brony.
I assure you guys that I'm still not a brony. Not that there's anything wrong with bronies. I'm just saying I'm not a brony. Brony. I wasn't like admiring the MLPs or anything. They were just like stuffed in the back of my closet. I only looked at them like once, maybe twice. Rainbow Dash really caught my eye today. Mostly because I've already massacred Pinkie Pie like twice. I don't need all this hair for the giraffe, so I'm just gonna chop it all off. It's actually kind of satisfying. Kind of looks like she's making a poop.
It's okay. You're safe now.
And Twilight Sprinkle kind of reminded me too much of Princess Luna, and I'm trying to kind of forget about that whole episode. So today I'll be giving a makeover to Rainbow Dash, the only viable option. Plus had to do something about that rainbow. We can't have that running around on the dark side. No. I opened up Rainbow Dash just to get a better look at her and plan out my piece.
Oh.
She came to me today for a haircut. I don't know why though. She has this gorgeously vomit-inducing flowing rainbow hair. I did advise her against it, but she insisted.
Please don't make me do it. I'm begging you. I want you to cut it all off.
Okay. I started off by just trimming it a little bit.
You can always take more off, but you can't put it back.
She insisted I keep going. She showed me a reference picture of Jeff Bezos and insisted she wanted his
Make
fade.
me look like this.
Who am I to judge? She also wanted a tail fade. She's really going for that hairless look. I showed her my work and she seemed pretty pleased.
You like it?
Not gonna lie, I was too. Yes, I've done it again. Anyways, that's enough messing around. I'm not just a barber, I'm also a plastic surgeon. So I hacked off her wings. Well, I tried to. But her big head was getting in the way, so I had to decapitate her. Ew. There were some flesh particles getting all over the place. Rainbow Dash didn't make it easy on me. Eventually I was able to chop off the wings, but it did leave behind some bruising and texture. That's to be expected. Some battle wounds that got slightly better with some exfoliation. Sanding Block was on vacation today. So Sanding Block's third cousin, twice removed, Sanding Rotary Tool, stepped in to help sand down Rainbow Dash. I'm using epoxy today to sculpt on her. Since she's plastic, I can't shove her in the oven to bake. Epoxy sculpt technically isn't air dry. It's a chemical reaction that occurs when you mix part A and part B together, and then you have a little bit of time to work with it before it hardens. It works pretty well for dolls since you can't bake them. Someone asked where I get these bigger tubs of epoxy. I just get them on Amazon. The 4-pound buckets. They last a while. Turns out Rainbow Dash did want me to put some of her hair back
I've made a
on.
big mistake.
I'll see what I can do. Let's see here.
So here's me just improvising with epoxy. There's a bit of a mohawk situation going on. I'm going to be turning Rainbow Dash into the deranged donkey that thinks he's a unicorn, hence the little short mane that I'm giving him. I used a clay tool to add some texture to it and to make it look more realistic. Not that I'm aiming for realism, but you know. The MLP ponies have very smushed faces, like someone punched their snouts in. It's an interesting look to say the least. To be honest, they don't look anything like horses or donkeys, rather more like a demented hyena creature, but that's not the look we're going for today. No. Hope you enjoyed breathing. To try and make it look a little more like a donkey, I'm adding some surface area to the mouth region. Lots of surface area. I wanted her lips to look like she's doing that weird lip thing that horses and donkeys do. Like this. Or something like that. If you don't want your face to look like forever, you should consider selling your soul to me by subscribing to my channel and ringing that bell thing so you don't lose me on the internet. I post new videos
Every Friday.
She also wanted me to put her butt hair back on, so I replaced that with a little donkey's tail. Not as aesthetic as her flowing blue butt hair that she originally had, but at least it's something. To make up for it, I even added a little bit of surface area to the butt. I hope you're happy. It's always kinda hard to perfectly blend the epoxy into the doll. You can always kinda tell where the epoxy ends and where the doll begins, which is kinda annoying, but it looks better once everything's painted. I really don't remember filming this part. Also added in some nostrils. He mostly breathes through his mouth, but I still added in the nostrils. It's an aesthetic choice.
Oh.
At first I thought Rainbow Dash's ears would work out alright for the deranged donkey's ears, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized that
No.
they looked nothing like the donkey's ears. So we'll just quickly get rid of those. For some reason, I thought I could sculpt better ears. No. It was nearly impossible sculpting the ears, to be honest. They just didn't want to cooperate with me. I thought maybe covering his whole face in epoxy might help. So that's what I did. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine. I was tired of looking at Rainbow Dash anyway. I did want to try and keep as much of the original Rainbow Dash as possible though. I was just under the impression that if I added more epoxy to the whole face, then it might help with the ears. Hopefully then the ears might actually stick on there. I was wrong. He has like floppy ears flying in the wind, not something that's easy to recreate on a sculpture. I tried a bunch of different things. I tried using some floral wire to prop up the ears, but it just wasn't staying inside the epoxy. At this point, I wish I had just kept Rainbow Dash's ears, but it's too late now. So I had to persevere. While her ear antennas were drying, I went on to do some dental work. I tried working on the ears some more, but they were still being a bit too stubborn, so I eventually pulled out the wires. The whole process was very frustrating. Instead of trying to make his ears fly in the wind, I settled on some floppy ears like nestled against his face. I know it's not quite the same, but at this point I've spent way too long on them, and I have to move on at some point. They're just gonna have to do. The deranged donkey that thinks he's a unicorn has a toilet plunger stuck to his head. I don't know if he sticks it on there himself, or if it got stuck on there at some point. Either way though, he now thinks he qualifies as a unicorn. Which I mean, technically he does. Can't argue with that. I got a bunch of epoxy all over the My Little Pony. Took me a little while just to scrape all that off. Sometimes sculpting gets a bit messy. He's mostly gray, as donkeys often are. No surprise there. He's not going to be adorned with a rainbow mohawk or anything like that. He's going for more of a subdued kind of look. He doesn't like to stand out from the crowd too much. Not really trying to draw any attention to himself. His mouth and ears and stomach are a peachy kind of color, just a standard run-of-the-mill donkey. I painted his eyeballs a bit. I didn't paint them completely, just some base colors for now. His teeth aren't rotting completely like the reverse centaurs. They're just kinda crooked and there's even a little gap in the middle there. He's got a pop of red on his toilet plunger. It's really the only pop of color on him. The handle for the toilet plunger kept breaking off. I'm just gonna leave it off for now.
Get out of here.
I didn't sculpt hooves on him. Like I said, I wanted to keep as much of the My Little Pony the same as possible, not trying to completely change the doll, just trying to work with what I have. But of course a donkey needs his hooves, so I painted those on. I gave him this posture where he's like looking back at his butt, not sure how his neck twists around that far. I guess he's pretty flexible. He likes to twerk for the crowds. And he just wanted you guys to be able to appreciate his glutes. Like I said, he's a bit deranged, slightly on the crazy side. He's got my typical asymmetrical eyeball kinda look. One giant disturbing eyeball, and the other slightly less giant but still giant disturbing eyeball. He had some water from the toilet plunger adorning his whole face before, so I wanted to recreate that. I wanted to try something a little different, so I attempted to do it with blue puffy paint. I wasn't entirely sure if it would look good or not, but after blow drying it, I think it looked pretty cool. I did it with puffy paint since I wanted it to have a 3D look rather than just painting on some splatters. I could have sculpted it on with epoxy, but I just felt like experimenting with the puffy paint to see how it would look. I felt like he still needed something, so I started sculpting a little accessory. There. A little poop to tie things together.
That's it.
He farts rainbows. The farts are what propel him and make him believe that he's flying. Needless to say, he's got quite the imagination. I just assumed his poops must also be rainbow, so I'm just gonna be painting this poop rainbow with some Posca pens. I plopped it under his butt to make it look like it's a fresh deposit. To seal everything in and make sure nothing cracks or chips, I spray painted it with some Mr. Super Clear. And to make the eyes really pop, because clearly they're not popping enough, I went over the eyes with some glossy varnish to give him that glossy-eyed look. So here he is, the deranged donkey that thinks he's a unicorn. He was honestly a little more challenging for me to make than the dragon. I feel like he shouldn't have been, but I just don't know what went wrong. I think he turned out okay in the end, though.
Did you know that rainbow poop is contagious? Click on the top right or bottom left if you don't want rainbow poop for breakfast.